Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready?
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Glad you're here and I hope you had a great weekend. I want to start this video here with another video and it kind of illustrates much better than I can about what's going on right now as far as the Republican Party goes. So let me shoot you over to that video and then I'll catch you on the other side.
Breaking right now, Vice President Harris's campaign, which just began today, has announced a whopping $81 million fundraising haul since she entered the race. That is the largest 24-hour total of any candidate in U.S. history.
The MAGA Republicans are having a complete meltdown right now over Vice President Kamala Harris becoming the Democrats' presumptive nominee for president. And just moments ago, the MAGA Republican VP pick of Donald Trump, the total phony and fraud, J.D. Vance, was giving one of his first speeches, this one in Middletown, Ohio, and it was just so boring and weird that Fox had to even cut away from it. People are second guessing now, should J.D. Vance have even been picked? Hearing that Donald Trump is like, why did I pick this guy? Take a look right here. This is J.D. Vance, and then watch Fox cut away from it. Watch this.
It is the weirdest thing to me. Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but it's good. I love you guys. But
we prepared this video at the Midas Touch Network about J.D. Vance's speech in Ohio, and we said, hey, Donald, giving off those Jeb Bush vibes that you so admired. Here, watch this.
It is the weirdest thing to me. Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but it's good. I love you guys. But
I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Now, before J.D. Vance spoke, if you want to see the complete and utter meltdown that MAGA is having, they're now saying at these Trump campaigns that they will be declaring a civil war if Donald Trump were to lose. We know, folks. I mean, you did a January 6th insurrection, and we know that you threaten this all the time because you're a bunch of losers. But here is, at the beginning of the campaign event today, you have the MAGA Republican speaker who was introducing J.D. Vance, who's a state senator from Ohio, this Republican, threatening civil war. I just want you to watch their behavior. Play this clip.
Fight! We got time. Come on. Hey, we are in the fight for the soul of our nation. We are in a fight for our kids and our grandkids, a fight that we can never imagine. I believe wholeheartedly Donald Trump and Butler County's J.D. Vance are the last chance to save our country politically. I'm afraid if we lose this one, it's going to take a civil war to save the country, and it will be saved. It's the greatest experiment in the history of mankind. And if we come down to a civil war, I'm glad we got people like Schmitty and the Bikers for Trump on our side.
And folks, that's who they are. And that's why I always say here on the Midas Touch Network, whether you're liberal, progressive, independent, or a mainstream conservative, or like a real Republican, not this MAGA, you should look at that and say, wait a minute, at Trump campaigns, they're declaring civil war. They're trying to instigate civil war, or saying if Trump loses, there will be a civil war. How un-American is that? And they're screaming, fight, fight, fight. It's the exact opposite of what this country needs. And that shouldn't even be a political position. You should just search your heart and say, what in the world is that? By the way, we're saying, what in the world is that? Then you have MAGA Mike Johnson going out and he says, look, we will be bringing litigation to stop Vice President Kamala Harris. We're going to be rolling out lawsuits because, again, whether they're threatening civil war or litigation, they're going to try to use all levers to institute Project 2025. These are losers and sore losers who engage in this type of behavior repeatedly. Here's MAGA Mike Johnson.
And in some of the states, there are impediments to just switching someone out like that. 14 million people went through the process and chose this nominee, Joe Biden. Now a handful of people have gotten together and decided he's no longer suitable. That's not how this system works. They are violating democratic principles. And I think that's a real problem, and I think there'll be a lot said about that in the days ahead.
And then, of course, he's not even consistent about it, because right as he's saying that, he then goes, actually, we prefer to run against Vice President Kamala Harris. We're ready. We're ready to, we like her at the top of the ticket. So you're going to try to file lawsuits. You like her at the top of the ticket. You've got people at Trump campaigns threatening civil war. Hey, other media other than Midas Touch, other than this network, can you cover this stuff, please? Can you just show the American people this stuff, please? It'd be nice. There was other independent media networks that do it, but corporate media, hello, play this clip.
It should be tougher to beat. She will not be tougher to beat. No, not at all. We're excited about Kamala being at the top of the ticket.
And by the way, Vice President Kamala Harris has raised now over $100 million in just a little bit over 24 hours since she became the presumptive Democratic nominee, and Republicans just simply can't handle it. By the way, here's a great photo by this account. They show J.D. Vance over here and they go, I can't explain it, but he looks like the guy at the bachelor party that doesn't know any of the groomsmen. Just a funny line. It's a funny observation. And I intuitively know exactly what they mean by that. But also, if you look at J.D. Vance's background, he claims he's from Appalachia. He's really not. He's from the suburbs of Ohio. His whole life story, the hillbilly elegy, it's like a total fraud and a total scam. And he worked in Silicon Valley after going to law school. He worked for Peter Thiel, made a lot of money doing that, then came back to Ohio, started a sham charity that claimed to address the opioid epidemic in the state, but actually just exploited people, took money, didn't give it to the community, funded a researcher who actually works with Purdue Pharma to put opioids back into the community. And basically he used it as a sham to hire political consultants and to launch his political career. I mean, it's just an utterly pathetic human being. And so I suppose a perfect pick for Donald Trump. Also, he previously called Donald Trump America's Hitler. Can we just show you what Kamala Harris Trump debate is going to look like? Because I went back to our archives here at the Midas Touch Network. This was the debate between Harris and Pence. And we released this video October 8th of 2020. So I'm pumped up. What about you? Here, play this clip.
This is important.
Susan,
I want to add, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. It is asking too much of the people.
Susan, we talked about
it is asking too much of the people.
Well, Susan, thank you. Although I would like to go back.
I think we need to move on to the issue.
Well, thank you, but I would like to go back.
In 1864.
Well, I'd like you to answer the question.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Okay.
We
Thank
still
you, Vice
learn
President.
from it. And I think
Vice
the
President
American
Pence, your
people,
time is
I want
up.
to say again, can be
Vice
proud
President Pence, I'm sorry,
of
your
what
time
we
is
have
up.
done. She has
15 seconds because
Well, I gotta
you're
have
trying
more
to
than
keep.
that. Look.
Well, I'm sorry, but Vice President
Look,
Pence, you've had more time than she's had.
The truth and the fact is, Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000
He said he's
a
going to
year.
repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well, wait.
I'm speaking. If you don't mind letting me finish, we can then have a conversation. Okay?
Please.
Okay.
Fidium Fiber gives you more than the best internet technology. It's about delivering a better experience at
And so while MAGAs are threatening civil war and lawsuits and whining, what do we see? The Democrats. I see energy. I see a revitalized, energetic group of Democrats. Here's Democratic Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries kind of mocking the MAGA meltdown. Let me show you. Play the clip.
In terms of my Republican colleagues, former President Donald Trump and extreme MAGA Republicans are having a meltdown right now. A complete and total meltdown. Why? Because their presidential nominee is unpopular. The extreme MAGA Republican policies are unpopular, including trying to impose a nationwide abortion ban on the American people, and their Project 2025 is unpopular. They're having a meltdown right now. All we want to do as Democrats is have a debate about moving the country forward and continuing to put people over politics.
Here he is one more time talking about the energy that exists right now. Let's play it.
Leader Jeffries, first, will you endorse Kamala Harris? And then I have one other question for you.
Well, Leader Schumer and I are scheduled to meet with Vice President Harris shortly. The House came back into session today. The Senate does not come back into session tomorrow. I'm excited for that meeting. And let me say this, that Vice President Kamala Harris has excited the community. She's excited the House Democratic Caucus, and she's exciting the country. And so I'm looking forward to sitting down with her in person in short order with Leader Schumer, and we'll have more to say about the path forward as soon as that meeting concludes.
While you're just kind of watching that, I mean, I don't know about you, but I am looking forward to showing you the contrast between Vice President Harris and Donald Trump. This was a video that we made, and I want to show it to you. Donald Trump in steep mental decline. Just take a watch of this video, and things are going to get interesting. Here, play the clip.
And my stupid people, when I wanted to refute it, they said, "Sir, don't dignify it with a rebuttal."
Have you been noticing peculiar behavior recently in someone you know?
Carried out by Ray.
Someone who mixes fiction and reality?
The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man.
Perhaps someone of advanced age you have known for years.
Did you just see Maduro, Venezuela? It's unbelievable, Venezuela.
Of course, we all have our goofs. But consistently odd behavior can be a sign of frontotemporal dementia, a degenerative disease of the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain that dramatically impairs cognitive function. And there are some key signs to look out for, like slurring words.
The failing New York Times by anonymous, really anonymous.
Struggling to find the correct words is another sign.
The Mueller report, I wish, covered the oranges of the investigation.
You may also notice someone veering into incoherent ideas, detached from reality.
You know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark.
Or an inability to complete simple sentences.
Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
Other notable symptoms include impaired motor function, such as a wavering limb, and decreased balance, often accompanied by a signature lean or arched stance. If someone you know is demonstrating several or all of these symptoms, they are seriously unwell. As a matter of safety, They must be relieved of critical responsibilities and disqualified from any position of authority. Remember, frontotemporal dementia is a degenerative disease. Cognitive function will never return and will only deteriorate further. Don't ignore the signs.
Man, I love that video. But anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million together. Thanks for watching.
So, as you can see, I mean, yeah, the Republicans really don't know how to really take this yet, okay? The fact that now they're gonna have to concentrate on a different opponent here instead of Biden kind of takes the wind out of their sails a little bit, because they were attacking Biden for his age and his mental alertness and all that, but now that argument really can be brought on their side now, because now Trump's the old man running for president at 78, and there's plenty of, as you could see in the little video there, plenty of moments where his lucidity could be questioned, and he just so it's gonna shut their mouth basically now, because the fact is they're the party now that's going to have to worry about defending their candidate against all the negativity concerning his age and all that stuff now. So that changes the table on them. Not that it's really going to matter to the MAGAs, because like I said, they wouldn't care what he did as a criminal or a rapist. They don't care. All they care is that he's a Republican. And all they care is that a Republican is president. It doesn't matter, if he's credible or truthful or honest or had any morals or principles. None of that matters to them. This is a football game to them, and to them it's about getting that touchdown. And they don't care how to get there to that goal. Okay? They don't care about that. And so, yeah, we can attack their side for our benefit, for those things, but just keep in mind that the MAGAs are just going to let that go right over their head. It's not going to fucking matter to them at all, because hey, the truth never mattered to them, right? And every argument, when you confront them with facts, they run and hide. They don't want to hear it. So seeing the truth about their candidates certainly isn't going to change that behavior in them. But what it does is, it illustrates to if there's still any undecided voters out there, on which side they really should land on, because frankly, Trump's proven in the past for his actions and has shown now that he is the worst choice for president this country could ever have. Of all the bad people who ran for president, he ranks up there as #1, the very worst of any candidate in history to run for president, because he's got nothing to offer the American people. He's got nothing to offer America. He's got nothing to offer the future of this country. He would rather see that it's burnt to the ground, because his mandate, his manifesto, Project 2025, really illustrates the deconstruction of the United States in plain language. It essentially would replace everything that we know as the government, and would put more power in the hands of just one person. And that might appeal to the MAGAs, but that's not American. Okay, that's not American. And for them to say that they're patriots and all that is laughable. It really is. And it's an insult to people who are patriots, people who actually went and fought for this country, gave an oath to this country to defend it as it is, okay? And the fact that so many died with that, keeping that oath, and the ones that, came home maimed and all that, they still honor the country that they fought. And this party here wants to just, snatch that away from them and call them stupid and losers and stuff like that for fighting and dying for, you know, for freedom. That's what they want to do. Who wants to join a party like that? You know, their very existence is contrary to what this country stands for. It shouldn't even be around. That kind of a party shouldn't even exist in America. If these people were really truly American, they wouldn't be in MAGA. There wouldn't be, you know, this kind of movement going on. But they've been misled for so long that they can't understand what they're doing is wrong. They just can't. That's amazing, isn't it? To be so far down the beaten path that you don't know your way home. And that's the problem with these MAGAs. They don't know their way back. They can't come back. They've gone so far down this MAGA road that they're lost to us. You know, that's why the rest of us are going to have to make the choice for them in order for their best interest, because otherwise the path they're going on is only going to drag the rest of us down with them if we let that happen. So, with Kamala Harris getting all that money right off in 24 hours, it doesn't surprise me, because those are the same people who were holding back the money that they were supposed to donate to Biden, okay, until he stepped down. Now that's going to her, okay? So it's not a gain, it's just, you know, what we'd call just the money we were supposed to get from them in the first place, okay? But the fact that she got it so fast in just a day's time sets a record. But that was money that was already spoken for Joe Biden, but it's going to her instead. So the thing is there's still people that I saw on certain websites, you know, reading their reactions, their comments, and their, you know, things. You know, a lot of people really kind of feel bad about what happened with Biden, okay? Because a lot of people liked him. You know, he wasn't a bad guy. He was you know, he had morals, he had principles and stuff, and you know, he generally believed in our country, and you know, he stood up for the unions, okay? And you know, the fact that he's 81 years old and he's not as quick on his feet like someone younger doesn't mean that his ideas were old or flawed. Actually, his ideas were part of what the new generation of people in America want today. So he was very progressive, and you know, he knew what needed to be done because he spent a lot of time listening to what people needed. You know, he didn't close the doors on the average person like the other side does. Okay, he didn't close the doors on what people needed, and he knew that people having a strong dollar to their name for a strong buying power ability was good for the economy, because when you encourage more spending by giving them more money, it makes the economy churn, okay? And I can't see how the people at the top would even hate that idea, right? Because that means more money for them, right? They can slow down on buying their own stocks because they would naturally get more wealth through, you know, consumer spending. So, you know, with the stock market doing and all that shit right now, wouldn't be so much artificial in nature as it would be if, you know, average citizens, you know, had higher wages and more power, spending power. They could do a lot for the economy in that way, and that's the muscle, that's the backbone of the country, not the rich, okay? They're not the ones that really run this country. You know, all these corporations that are out there were always started from the ground up, okay? They just didn't appear or hatch out of an egg, okay? It took work, and it took muscle, and it took the middle class and workers and all that to build these corporations into the giants they are today. Biden understands that, and so when he's started the green energy projects and stuff like that, he knew these things would start at the ground up, okay, and over time they'd become empires for themselves. He laid down the foundation for that as president, so he saw the future. He was with the young generation out there that sees the need to try to be more environmentally friendly, and he agrees with it. Okay, the other side, of course, they think it's a hoax. Okay, they're still with that mindset, which that means that they're yesterday. Those folks are yesterday, and they're firmly ensconced in yesterday. They won't change. They're unyielding and narrow-minded, and you know, we don't need that to run a country. What we need is a person with vision who can see the big picture at the end of the day and see where we need to be, and that's what we got. That's what we had with Biden, and hopefully, and I think, you know, with Kamala it'll be the same, because she was with him for those 4 years. I mean, the Republicans can say anything they want about her, but she was part of the administration that made all those successes too, and she helped to get a lot of that going. And so, you know, she shares some of that, you know, that accolades for all those successes too. So let's go to a commercial break and we'll be back.
That's enough! And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother! Let Trumpomania rule again!
One hell of a golfer.
One heck of a golf swing.
21 club championships.
The funniest person I've ever met in my life.
Tore up the dance floor until 3 in the morning with his signature moves. You guys know those moves.
Donald J. Trump.
Donald J. Trump.
And he said, I understand, Your Excellency. He called me Your Excellency. You can go back to Germany from 100 years ago.
Say fight! Fight! Say fight!
Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob.
There were people's heads being cut off at the beaches. We destroyed ISIS.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter.
You'll never hear me say, I'm on God's side, or God's with me, or even I'm with God.
Why would you allow Donald Trump to come into your church?
Be excited. Be excited.
Susie, it's Donald Trump.
He looked at me with a wistful smile, blowing a kiss.
I just had a flashback, man. This is really tripping.
107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens.
They literally let Navarro out of prison.
Because the only crime President Trump has committed is loving America.
What you gonna do when Donald Trump and all the Trumpomaniacs run wild on you, brother?
Just die. Rough. Peanuts. Hello. We're going to get to the cure for cancer.
This is the most responsible, unifying behavior of a leader I think I've ever seen.
Fight.
For President Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance.
Terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him, might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible.
But I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place. He's leading our political discourse to a very negative place. If Trump is elected president, he has to be a much different president than he was a candidate. As a candidate, he was fundamentally divisive, arrogant. I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
Our border is a mess.
A lot of the senators are trying to say respectfully they're blaming it on me. I said, that's okay. Please blame it on me. Please.
Donald Trump is telling his allies not to vote for it so he can run on it in November. That, to me, is dereliction of duty. Biden is ready to sign something if Congress will send it to him.
He never talks about securing the border unless he's saying stop it because I don't want it to happen until the election.
But as an election year issue, keeping the chaos at the border as it is benefits him.
Told me flat out, if you try to move a bill that solves the border crisis during this presidential year, I will do whatever I can to destroy you.
I'm extremely disappointed in the very strange maneuvering by many on the right.
It's honestly partisan politics on display in the stupidest way. It's embarrassing for Republicans.
The fact that he would communicate
to Republican senators and congresspeople that he doesn't want us to solve the border problem because he wants to blame Biden for it is really appalling.
He'd rather weaponize this issue than actually solve it.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, so welcome back. There's this article which I don't think is going to get much notice by many people, but it's worth putting out there for people to know now, because it's easy for an article like this to get thrown out there when all the hoopla right now is over the switch and party ticket here for the Democrats. This would just get swept under the fucking rug, but I don't want this to go away. I want people to pick up on this here. This is from Business Insider, and it's entitled, Donald Trump donated to Kamala Harris's campaigns twice while he was a private citizen, records show. Donald Trump contributed $6,000 to Kamala Harris when she ran for California Attorney General. He also donated $5,000 to her 2011 campaign and $1,000 in 2013 as a private citizen. Joe Biden dropped out of the 2024 presidential race on Sunday and endorsed Harris to replace him. Donald Trump donated to Kamala Harris twice while she was candidate for California Attorney General, according to public records available on the California Secretary of State's website. So you can confirm that by going there on that. He made donations while he was a private citizen. His daughter Ivanka also donated $2,000 to Harris in 2014, records show. Trump launched his first presidential bid in 2015. Harris served as California's Attorney General from 2011 to 2017 before her election to the U.S. Senate. Now Trump could face Harris in a general election for the U.S. presidency after President Joe Biden, Trump's presumptive 2024 Democratic opponent, ended his re-election bid. On Sunday, Harris, Biden's vice president, is now widely viewed as a top contender for the Democratic nomination. The Washington Examiner reported in 2019 that Trump had said in an affidavit that he made the $5,000 donation at the request of New York's Attorney General at the time, Eric Schneiderman. Quote, Mr. Schneiderman's former transition committee leader asked my daughter Ivanka if she would arrange for me to make a contribution to a fundraising event sponsored by Mr. Schneiderman for newly elected California Attorney General Kamala Harris, unquote. Trump wrote in the affidavit, quote, in response, I made a $5,000 contribution to Ms. Harris's campaign, the highest level of sponsorship listed in the invitation, and Ivanka attended the event together with some of Trump's org's other top executives, unquote. A Harris spokesman told the Sacramento Bee that in 2015 she donated the money Trump gave her campaign to a nonprofit group that helps Central Americans. In 2020, Trump's senior advisor, Katrina Pearson, told PBS NewsHour's Yamiche Alcindor that the president had, quote, donated to candidates across all aisles, unquote, and that she hoped his donation to Harris as a black woman could, quote, squash this racism argument now, unquote. Trump's history of donating to Harris and other Democratic candidates first resurfaced in 2020 after Biden tapped Harris to be his running mate. On Sunday, following mounting pressure from Democratic politicians and donors, Biden dropped out of the race and endorsed Harris as the Democrat nominee. Quote, I am honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination, unquote, she said in a statement. Trump released a statement on Truth Social on Sunday calling Harris, quote, just as much of a joke as Biden is, unquote, and criticizing what he called her, quote, liberal, weak on crime record, unquote, in California. So, yeah. He donates to her, and now he's calling her weak. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm sure the Republicans in the Trump campaign are not going to want to see that become, you know, an issue or a topic of conversation at a debate between him and Harris, because I'm sure maybe she might bring it up, maybe she won't, I don't know. But it would be interesting to see how he responds to it. At the same time, for a guy as wealthy as he is, and all he donated was $5,000, I mean, isn't that like, you know, donating $10, you know, you know, and just to say that I donated to, you know, I don't know. I mean, I understand in politics, you know, campaign donations, you know, every dollar counts, okay? But if Trump was really invested in seeing her win, I think he'd have given her a lot more than that, you know. I mean, he strikes me as a guy where big money is what it's all about. And $5,000 is not big money like it used to be. Like, you know, some people can spend that on a weekend, you know. But as it is, that article was out there, and I thought, I wonder if anyone's ever going to pick that up and go with it. I doubt that, because at the same time, all the heads of the media, the few media outfits that we have in this country, seem to all be hanging off the same rope, as it were. That rope being attached to Donald Trump. They're all in his pocket, every damn one of them. Okay, they already proved that every CEO, CBS, NBC, you know, all the fucking media outlets out there, they're all in his pocket, okay, which explains a lot why they've been so negative towards Biden, and probably why they set up that asinine debate in the first place between him and Trump, where there was no audience, mics could get cut off, the questioner wouldn't challenge Trump's lies and just let him say, you know what I'm saying? It was just there were no rules, essentially, from what I could tell. You know, it wasn't your typical debate, and I think, you know, it was designed that way for a reason. Even though some will say, well, both parties agreed to the conditions. Well, maybe, but I think somebody knew better what would happen if they put Biden in that situation where he had to go toe-to-toe with that knucklehead while he's spewing 90 minutes worth of lies. I mean, it would be a challenge for anybody to catch up, you know, to stomp him down, to shut him up even. As he goes on his rants, as he does, you know, even at the rallies that he has and stuff, he'll do that for the most time, you know, 2 hours. Just, I mean, how can someone spend 2 hours, you know, ranting about lies, you know, quoting a poem, you know, about a snake, and talking about water pressure and toilets and you know, he just, you know, he doesn't need teleprompters. Because what he says when he's ranting is just coming out of here, you know, because he says it in almost every rally, which means it's sort of like his thing. Why he thinks he needs teleprompters to feed him what he already wants to talk about, I don't know. Maybe they're hoping to keep him on track, but rarely does he ever sound like he's on a speech that has any meaning. You know, when you hear Biden talk, or to give a speech, you know it's a speech that has a point. But Trump never has a point when he talks. He just rambles, and people don't know whether they should applaud or just laugh, or, you know, because when he says something that's, I guess, maybe a joke, he doesn't say it as a joke. He says it like he's serious, like he means it, you know. And I don't know what kind of reaction he's hoping to get. Maybe he thinks he can joke his way into the White House because he figures people like entertainment more than they like to talk serious. Maybe that's true, you know. I certainly kind of get that in today's world, where people would rather be entertained than informed, which is why the media is geared the way it is now, where it's more focused on entertaining you with the news and not really informing you about the news. And that goes for the Democrats too. I mean, because, hey, look, if one side's doing it and it's working for them, guess what? They're going to do the same thing, because they want to keep people, they want to keep their base entertained and happy too. But with Trump, I mean, I think because he's spent so much time, you know, I don't know if you could call it Hollywood, but, you know, maybe it's just this time, you know, being a celebrity. That's really all he knows, is to be entertaining. To be a president, he would have to lean too much on other people around him to be able to do the right thing, or in this case, to do anything. Not necessarily the right thing, but in order to do policy, he wouldn't really know how to do that. You know, look, let me put it like this. Trump is a convicted felon, and he'll probably debate Kamala Harris, who has a great deal of experience as a prosecutor. She prosecuted, you know, rapists, child molesters, banks, stuff like that. The prosecutor versus the felon is really what this goddamn debate, if they have one, unless he tries to back out. If they have this debate, that's really what this is going to be about. Is, an attorney going after a criminal on the stage, in front of the camera, in front of millions of people. How do you think that's going to look? Can you imagine how that's going to be? I mean, we wouldn't have got this kind of a confrontation debate if Biden hadn't stepped out, right? She would have had to debate J.D. Vance, but he ain't no fucking... he would be an easy win over him, okay? He's nobody. But to have her go after Trump, who is already a felon many times over, as a prosecutor, she's got him by the fucking balls. I mean, all she's got to do is start hitting him on the national secrets that he stole, and, you know, go right back at him for all those fucking things that he hasn't really answered for yet. Okay? All she's got to do is corner his ass in front of the whole world on the stage about his crimes. My God, I mean, can you imagine what that would... The MAGA movement would just fucking go ape shit, because Trump wouldn't be able to bullshit his way out of it. You know, he might even incriminate himself while he's on the fucking stage, you know, if she attacks him on those scores. I mean, because if he won't talk about policy, if he won't talk about what he wants to do for America, which he never does, you know, then guess what? He opens the door to be attacked personally. And Kamala Harris will be the perfect individual to really tighten the screws on him, you know. he should be very afraid about getting into another debate right now, especially now that she's on top of the ticket. That's bad news for them. It's going to make him look really bad. I mean, I know some maggots won't give a shit, okay? But, you know, there might be a few moderates out there who might say, you know, she really opened my eyes by showing us what this fucking guy is. I mean, you know, he shouldn't even be standing or sharing the stage with her, let alone running for president. And honestly, they'll realize, look, if he's a criminal, if he's convicted, why is he running for president? In this country, we don't allow that. The guy can't even vote for himself in this election, you know, when it comes election day, because he's a convicted felon, you know. But, you know, he'll be able to sign things into law if he becomes president, so you go figure. But, you know, the thing is that this is really a bizarre scenario now more than ever for MAGA, because they got to redraw the map here to victory. They're already, you know, looking at J.D. Vance now as a mistake. Okay, because, you know, it was funny to play it fast and loose before, you know, but now with J.D. Vance, I mean, I don't think the MAGA movement's really that happy with him now being on the fucking, being the vice president. They didn't like him because he came out against Trump so fucking hard, you know, back, you know, when they were running. He called him America's Hitler, and he was always after him, okay? MAGA's not going to forget that. So they may accept him as a choice Trump make, but that doesn't mean they like him. And right now, with the Democrats doing what they did, now they're looking at J.D. Vance as you know, maybe we ought to replace him with somebody else. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I don't even know if they can do that because it was nominated. But, you know, each party, the Democrats and the Republicans, run their selection of nominations in their own way, okay? There is no specific rule book that they must follow. I mean, they all do it their own way. So right now you got Republicans threatening to make lawsuits here or something like that against the Democrats for doing this, you know, at the 11th hour. Okay, but the problem is that Biden was never officially nominated to be the person to run. That was supposed to happen in the convention, not before. So I don't know how they're going to be able to win that unless that goes to the Supreme Court and the Trump judges there will give him his reprieve once again. Okay, that's the only way that they'll do something. And that would be unfortunate, because then that would put the whole legitimacy of the election in jeopardy if Kamala should win. If the justices say that it was all, you know, was all done against the rules or whatever the hell, they could force her to step down. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. But there's certainly going to be a legal fight. And this is funny coming from the Republicans, because they always accuse the Democrats of using the courts to fight, you know, their battles. But who's been doing that the most these last few years, right? Really. So don't when these people say that, don't let them get away with it, okay? Just remind them how many judges are on their side. at this point in time. You got Eileen Cannon down there running rough interference for Trump here on the most important case that's pending against him. And it would be so unfortunate if the guy that stole those secrets, sold them to other, you know, and we find out he sold it to other people, the things that he had, made copies of, and now he's the president and we can't touch him. You know, what kind of a situation would that be for us? I mean, that would be dishonorable beyond all belief. So, yeah, I mean, now is really the important time, and people, they're coalescing around Kamala, which is good. There's still people now that are kind of uncertain. Like I said, I read some comments today. Some people are really upset that the Democrats did what they did to Biden. Some vowing that they're going to drop out of the party, which in my mind means they're not going to vote. I knew that was going to happen. So I don't know how we gonna reel in these other people. I don't know, but certainly we probably picked up some people who maybe were undecided. So there's always a give and a get, you know, at the you know, in situations like this, you give and take. So maybe it'll balance out. I don't know. Hopefully it does. But like I said, look at the alternative. I mean, these people who don't want to vote for Kamala, would they really rather vote for Trump? Because even if they don't vote, they're giving the vote to him. Because for every vote that they don't get, the other side picks up. You know, and so, you know, if you don't vote, you might as well say, you know, you're leaving your spot vacant for a Republican vote to take your place. I mean, because that's essentially what you're doing. You can't not vote. You have to vote something, okay? And if you don't want to see Trump, then you know you got to vote blue all the way down the fucking ticket. Whether you like Harris or not, you got to vote blue, okay? At least you know that, you know, Harris is not the person who's going to try and take away rights and freedoms, okay? She's the opposite of that. So, you know, you can have more faith in that. In fact, she stands for you know, rights for the LGBTQ community, which is good for, you know, good for them, because I'm not sure if they felt as secure about that with Joe Biden. I mean, I'm not saying he would deny it, but, you know, I never really heard much of, you know, about that from him while he was president. But the thing is that, you know, people can expect the continuation of Biden's agenda with her. And so, you know, like I said, it's, yes, I understand people are pissed about how this shook down. Understand, keep this in mind though, this is the very first election in American history where so much is riding on what's going to happen in the outcome. This whole thing is all historic. Everything we're living, this is historic times politically, okay? And I realize that, you know, I'm saying this now after so many things in the past have come and gone, world wars and civil unrest and all that stuff, okay? But this election here is going to define America into the next century, okay? This is going to define this country from here on out. And if the white nationalists have it their way, America won't be the free country that we claim it is when we sing the anthem, okay? It's not going to be that anymore. It's not going to be that. You know, I know I predicted that at the end of this century, America's not going to look the same way it does today. It's going to be completely different. And that's because I see that this movement in this country, this, you know, regressive movement building strength as time goes on, and it's only going to get worse unless it gets slapped down every chance we get. And if they won't stay down and they keep coming back, then we have to keep slapping it down until, you know, it dies, until it just, you know, the ridiculousness of it starts to make sense with people, that it doesn't deserve its existence, okay? We have to keep slapping it down. We have to remain vigilant. And so, this election, I guess, really illustrates that argument. This is where we got to really slap this thing down, you know, put out that fire, because it's gonna become wildfire, and we're gonna be able to put it out. Better to stop it now when it's dead in its tracks before it gets any worse, and we don't want that. You know, we don't want Project 2025 to get its roots in our country here, because we're really going to be screwed if that happens. So, okay, so that's it for today. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Subscribe, comment, and share. And please keep your ears open for health-related issues. COVID's still out there. I noticed some people wearing masks more lately, so that might mean there's a few cases showing up here in Maine. I haven't really paid any attention, but you know, if people are wearing masks around here, then there must be something up with that. So treat each other nice out there and kind, and be safe. So take care, everybody. I'll talk to you later.